and welcome to another episode of Education by Spencer. And today we will be covering TEKS 67A, solving expressions using order of operations. Now the word problem for today is, Ms. Gray wrote the following expression on the board. 4 squared minus 2 plus 5, open parentheses, 28 divided by 7, close parentheses. Our job is to find the value of this expression. Okay, we always want to practice good habits, so we're going to start with our cube strategy. Now, after we start with our cube strategy, the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, what strategy will we use to solve this expression? Order of operations. We will use order of operations, which is parentheses first. If we don't have any parentheses, then we will move on to look for exponents. If we don't have any exponents, we will look for multiplications or division going left to right. We will also look for addition or subtraction next, going left to right within our expression. Many of you remember this as Please Excuse by Dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so we're going to still use the strategies that you learned in the 5th grade. I believe it was TEKS 5.4, the introduction to order of operations. Now, the second question I want to ask you, what does the parentheses indicate in the expression? This is what differentiates us from 5th grade and 6th grade. We will now have parentheses and exponents and more of our expressions. So, would it be the parentheses is telling us to multiply 4 times 2 plus 5? Is the parentheses telling us to multiply 4 times 4 minus 2 plus 5? Is the parentheses indicating that we're going to multiply 5 times 28 divided by 7? Or is the parentheses telling us to divide 28 by 7 and then multiply that by 5? Let's see what it tells us. When we look at the parentheses, we always work inside out. So our initial operation would be to divide 28 by 7 before we move any further. Now, how do we write 4 squared in factor form and standard form? Exponential form for 4 squared would be 4 to the 2nd power. Now, we want to expand that in factor form. Factor only means to multiply, and we will be multiplying our base 2 times. This will give us 4 times 4. And if we wanted to put it in standard form, we will simply solve it. 4 times 4 gives us 16. These are vocabulary words that we have been practicing throughout this particular lesson. Now let's do the computation. So we will use the order of operation to solve this problem. Now I want to go through steps, mathematical operations, and how we will do the computation. So when we look at this problem, 4 squared minus 2 plus 5, open parentheses, 28 divided by 7, close parentheses. The first step we would do would be parentheses. And we would end up with 28 divided by 7 equals 4. The next step we would do would be parentheses. We still do not move on because we still have 4 inside the parentheses, and the 5 is telling us that that will be multiplication. 5 times 4 gives us 20. Step 3, exponents. We will move on to the exponent because according to PEMDAS, we do parentheses and then we move to exponents, okay? This is the difference between 5th grade and 6th grade. 4 squared equals 16. Now, our next step. What do you think the next step will be? Subtraction. Now that we have our exponent, now we want to subtract 2 from 16 because subtraction is coming first, going left to right. This will give us 14. Now we only have one operation left, which is addition, and we would add 14 plus 20, which will give us 34. All right, guys, thank you for joining me with the lesson. Please move on to the next problem. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.